Sikorski's Think Abouts on the Daily Blue. I'm your host, Laura Sikorski. Our show, believe it or not, has been on the air 3 months, and we are certainly excited about it. And it appeals to all levels of management, and we discuss customer service, customer care, and technology. Joining me today is Jeanine Bondi, a friend for many years, and she is currently the Vice President of IT for Lloyd IT, located in Melville. And she has an enormous background in talent acquisition and management and recruitment and technology and so forth, and actually is the 7-time recipient of the Long Island Software Award, the LISA. And she was the founder with ListNet of the Diamond Technology Award, and that began in 2009. I believe you were a recipient, or it began in 2009.
Yes,
you were
I
a
was.
recipient. And she has an enormous amount of background with Long Island Business News and Governor Pataki and Senator Kemp Hannon, and has many, many achievements on that vein. She's also adjunct faculty at Dale Carnegie Training. Jeanine is someone very special in my heart because she has made a life of giving back to the community, not only personally, but through corporations. And that's why today we are going to talk about the benefits of community outreach to your brand and workforce. And one final note before we give the mic over, so to speak, to Jeanine, is that she is the Associate Trustee and Chair of the Commerce and Industry Council for the North Shore LIJ Health System. And she spearheads millions of dollars of fundraising events for them and for others in the Long Island community. So with that, I just want to welcome you to the show. Thanks,
Thank you,
Jeanine.
Laura. Thank you.
And let's just kind of start talking. When we discussed what we thought a great topic for you, you completely 100% said community outreach.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where our goal is going to be today. So I found these statistics about who the workforce is today extremely compelling. So could you kind of step us through a little bit?
Sure. Laura, first of all, thank you for having me here today. In terms of talking about the dynamics of customers and the workforce, historically, it's always been the old-timers and then the young and up-and-comers. But for the first time in history, we have 5 generations in the workforce. And those 5 generations have a common denominator. And that common denominator is an interest in social responsibility, or what we would say community outreach. These 5 generations, and certainly by the year 2020, we're going to have 50% of our workforce as millennials. So it's really important that our customer care organizations and health systems at large are very, very mindful of not only who is in the workforce, but who our customer base is.
Totally agree. And I found it very interesting to look at Linksters, is the Facebook crowd.
Yes.
And again, I could see that from my nieces and nephews. They are more in tune with community outreach, for saving the planet, for doing all the wonderful things that perhaps we talked about in the 60s maybe, you know, but now the generations are really saying it's time to give back.
Most certainly. This trend of thinking about, and we're going to talk a little bit later, but people, planet, community, these are very, very key issues across the generations.
So why do you want to do a community outreach program as a company? How did that all stem about?
Well, many years ago, I mean, for me personally, many years ago, I was president of a staffing company, and it was celebrating quite a milestone, a 50-year anniversary. And so, you know, without skipping a beat, of course we were going to do a gala. But it occurred to me how important it would be and how meaningful it would be for this organization to give something back. It's really easy to write a check, but I was looking for something more. I was looking to rally our customers, our clients, our employees towards a common goal. And that was to begin to not only have that gala, but to raise money for some of our local charities. And so it became more than the check that we were going to write.
So it was more than the celebration of your 50 years.
Absolutely.
It was bringing everyone that you touched as a corporation into the fold to make this something very special.
Very special. And so while we did a lot of good and we raised a lot of money, what happened as a derivative is that the employees became more unified. They had something beyond the work that they did to unite them, to bond them, to build morale. And ultimately it brought that return back to the organization. But for our clients, they also felt that this was something unique and different and another way to engage, another way to be, even feel more loyal towards that organization.
Right. This is just intrigues me on how what you started has become such an enormous importance to Long Islanders, because everyone is either walking or knocking on the doors or having car washes or many other things that we're going to talk about in a few. But it's because we as a people have said it's time.
Exactly.
It's time.
Exactly.
And I think the fact that the corporations on Long Island now are getting involved, and it's not only the individual, but it is the corporation. So you said, we talked a little bit about being a critical component. I'm intrigued by the employee retention. Is it they just want to stay because you guys are doing such great things when you outreach outreach?
Well, likability is an important quotient. And we have to value that. We have to value how people feel about their organization, the mission statement, and whether or not that company walks the walk. It gives those employees an opportunity to engage, but also it breeds leadership in the organization. When you see the CEO of the company, the line managers, other employees that you are aligned to, the front line, engaging in that common goal, and also being true to the mission statement of the organization, it makes you want to work for that company. It makes you want to do more. And it also breeds leadership opportunities to, if you're having an internal, let's say teams, walk teams, or raising funds. We do at our company, we raise money and get goods for families around the holiday time. And we'll build teams inside the organizations and appoint a leader. Maybe somebody in the company who doesn't ordinarily have an opportunity to lead gives them an opportunity to prove themselves, shows management what they're capable of, and the pride that comes with it.
I would think it also gives you an opportunity to see someone shine.
Absolutely.
Who you absolutely never thought that this person would want to lead or would want to be part of getting together and saving somebody or doing something good for the community. I like the fact that you bottom line this slide with people, planet, and profit. And I think those are the three Ps,
the
three Ps. So let's talk a little bit about the people and what it does for community outreach and who those people are.
Well, it's twofold. It's the people inside the organization at every level, and it's then the people, your customers who you're reaching out to. Anyone who's in a position of sales or certainly in your customer care area, when they have that pride of their organization, it shines in every interaction. So the people, and caring about the people, caring about not just the work that they do, but the lives that they have, the issues that they face. The planet really being our community caring about that community, whether it's environmental, whether it's in terms of giving back to charities, whether it's the people inside that community and the issues that they're facing. Just a couple of years ago with Hurricane Sandy and all the outpouring, but doing this on a day-to-day level and finding causes that, again, endear to the organization, speak to your mission, and represent your company well.
And it does not necessarily have to be a major corporation or major fundraising company that needs funding. It could be your local church, or it could be your local families who, just went on hard times. So keep in mind, it doesn't have to be this big, huge thing. It could start very small, and then it can branch out to other areas in Long Island. So we did talk about planet a little bit, but let's talk about profits. You know, a lot of people are probably saying, well, here it is, you know, it's the end goal is we're going to make money out of doing this. And I don't think that that's what Jeanine is saying.
No, I really mean about things like retention, things like wellness programs inside of an organization, things that mitigate risk. Certainly a wellness program, whether it's, in our company we did pedometers for 1 quarter, and everyone was encouraged to walk, and someone, of course, who led the pack would be given a reward from the company. But we have many employees who are continuing to do that, you know, for their own wellness. So when we're well and we're proactive in that area, we mitigate risk in terms of illness and certainly those kinds of things. But also in terms of retention, attracting good talent inside your organization, retaining those individuals, and then as far as your customers, having that loyalty for repeat business. People want to work with people that they feel similarities to.
Or they feel comfortable with.
Exactly.
You know, they're proud to be part of that company. And I can understand when you use the word retention, I would love to work for a company like Lloyd, again, because their goal is to give back to the community, but is to make their people feel special.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a testament to yourself and to certainly to everyone that works at Lloyd.
Well, you know, I must tell you that at the top level, our CEO, our president, our executive vice president, in recent months, you'll remember the ALS challenge with the buckets.
Right.
Well,
right.
It was just wonderful for all of us to go outside and to watch the 3 of them talk about the ALS challenge.
The Banks family,
exactly,
right?
And their commitment to raising funds and encouraging their employees and their clients, and then to see each one of them take the challenge.
Right.
And, you know, it was that feeling of, you're just like me. We're one, we're unified, we're bonded in something. The derivative returns on that are endless.
You know, and that is really so important. A lot of people forget, you know, or I shouldn't say a lot of people, but a lot of CEOs or the C-level suite, they never come down to see who is working for them, who is you know, what are they doing, how are they treating our customers. There's so many levels before you get to them, and then when you see them on the floor, you see them getting pounded with ice, you know, as they were. What a great testament, because it says, I'm not in an ivory tower, I'm reachable. Right. So it's not only just for our outreach program, but hey, if you have an idea, I'm okay to talk to. I'm not going to bite your head off.
Oh,
you know?
certainly, certainly.
Yeah, so I think that is an outstanding way to do business. And I encourage all of you who perhaps are managers and directors to really start thinking about community outreach and trying to do something with your company to make a difference. And
Absolutely.
I think that's the most important. So internal and external components. Let's talk about what you mean by this.
Okay. Well, some of the external components could be supporting disadvantaged populations or causes. You know, those within the community. It could be timing, for example, like a Hurricane Sandy situation. It could be around Thanksgiving time, encouraging employees to bring in canned goods and other items for different local charities, buying turkeys, different things like that. Emergency reliefs, certainly external, and then research. In our company and in companies that I engage with, certainly breast cancer awareness, prostate cancer awareness, things that are proactive, preventative, research-oriented, things that really touch across the gamut, not only internally to our employees, but their families, their friends, their clientele, things that really touch the heart. And then internally, human resources, particularly creating programs that focus on wellness. Any type of program that might bring more awareness, whether it's good eating habits, whether it's healthy living, whether it's heart health, whether it's, as we spoke about before, walking, any type of exercise, and rewarding that. You can reward that with different types of points and accumulating towards, let's say, a day off or a half day, anything from there to maybe supporting a gym membership, but really advocating wellness and proactive preventative care. And then fundraising efforts for a cause that has deep meaning to the to the company. And there you really need to know your employees. You need to create a forum for them to voice their interests, to really understand. And once you have that, you have engagement. And we talked a little bit before about anything the company does, that it must be engaged from the top down. When we do that, that's when we really hit that shining moment.
So, and so for our viewers, community outreach is just not saying, okay, we're going to have a fundraiser and we're going to do it for this XYZ charity. It's a complete organizational change.
Oh, yes.
It's a culture change because you're looking at your employees as a method of community outreach. They're looking to you as a method of community outreach. And then looking at all of these external and internal reliefs, you know, you're going to get some great ideas from employees.
Oh, sure.
Who, you know, did you read about so-and-so, or did you hear about this? And I think when you have an open door, that, you know, infamous words of open door policy, this is something that will work for your companies out there. And it's really quite an important contribution.
It is. And Laura, just one more point, which is when you do give back and you get engaged, what ends up happening is you as an individual get engaged, meaning that if you look at the boards of many of our nonprofits or other types of outreach organizations on Long Island and throughout the country, those boards are made up of business people. And those business people are the movers and shakers. They are the people that you want to meet when you want to grow your company and when you really want to understand the business landscape. And I've had the privilege of serving on those types of boards and engaging in committees and giving back and doing for organizations. And, you know, we talked a little bit before the program about someone we both know, Esther Bogan. And when I met her at the Long Island Center for Business and Professional Women, she said to me, Jeanine, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And that stuck with me. And so engaging, taking yourself out of the company, engaging in some of these organizations, getting yourself on committee, getting on boards, that's where business people do business. That's where they get to know who you are, who your company is, and that's where some of those returns back to the company, back to your organization, back to yourself as a personal investment exist.
Couldn't agree more. Well said, well said. And so, of course, we try to always have little think-abouts during our show. And how do you structure your community outreach platform? What are some of the things that you really need to do?
Well, first you need to understand inside the company some of the interest. Where is the interest for some of our outreach? What should we be focusing on internally
So how do you
and
do that?
externally?
Do you canvass employees? Do you say
That's a great start to really understand the sentiment. You might also understand the sentiment from your customers, some of the things that they're doing, that they're engaged with, things that are happening in the society around you, being aware, reading, looking at those things and thinking about how could we structure, even on a quarterly basis, something inside our company, something intentional that speaks to this social responsibility or community outreach platform. So I recommend a calendar events if you have a marketing department and a human resource department that could work together. If you have a cabinet of management and maybe take a selection of individuals across the company to gain that sentiment. Making employees leaders, as we spoke about before, making them captains or chairs. For example, we're raising money right now for toys for families for the holidays, and we have captains in the company who are organizing that. They're motivating the people on the team.
Are they motivated to ask other employees, or are they motivated to reach out to other businesses?
Some of our programs are internal, and some are external. Okay, depending upon the nature of it. Create a contribution. Maybe for X number of sales, let's say in a quarter, our company is going to give a certain percentage to a particular cause. It could be in the call center, maybe based on the number of phone calls that are answered in an expeditious fashion. We're going to give a percentage to a cause that has meaning inside the company. So you can create that contribution. Building donations into your purchases, a percentage of profit.
I'd really explain this one because I was trying to figure out what does that really mean to me. You know, I really don't want to outreach for profit, but it can be something that happens. as a result of it?
Well, it's inspiring your customers, depending upon what your product or service is, inspiring your customers, making them aware of something that your company is focused on, some type of a community outreach, and giving some type of incentive to give for the company to give a percentage of profits based on its sales for that quarter, let's say, or that month, and hopefully inspiring a little bit more activity. But everything being done with tremendous amount of heart and good intentions. You know, it's not, that's intended more to get your customers involved with you. So how can we help?
Right.
Involvement beyond the employee, getting the family members. We do a lot of walks. There's so many walks across Long Island.
Exactly.
So it's a great outing. You know, we all like to think about having a holiday party and different things, a picnic, employee picnic over the summer, but maybe a walk, something that's very general and across the board and very family oriented, would be a great outing for your employees.
So it's a great starting point.
Absolutely. And spreading the word through social media. You know, today we have all types of sources of social media, and bringing it always back, as I mentioned, to the mission of your organization, getting that message out, and of course give your efforts a voice, as we've ended this particular slide.
Right. Right. Well, it was fun because we're almost out of time, believe it or not, and we did have a question from Sarah, who is an HR manager, and a very generic question is, where can I find a list of local charities? Where do I start? I mean, we know how to start the program, but where do I find someone who we should give our resources to?
Okay. Well, a great source would be the Long Island Business News. Every week they have a calendar of events for nonprofits. I would definitely recommend to take a look at the types of events, the types of organizations, to maybe attend one of those events. Have some of the members of your company attend, get to know that organization, visit it. So that's a great place to see the organizations on Long Island that are out in the forefront. And of course, we can always do a search on a topic or a particular area of nonprofit that we may want to look at. But the Long Island Business News is an excellent source.
They do. They are
Absolutely.
a great newspaper. Well, you know, I am so sad to say that we are at the end. But if you would like to reach Jeanine, her phone number is 631-393-8700, and email address is jbondi@Lloyd, LLOYDIT.com, and you can also find her on LinkedIn. But, you know, should you want to reach out to her, talk about how to develop a program for your corporation, your company, please either contact the Daily Blue or contact Jeanine directly. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. It's been a pleasure.
And for next week, we're going to do something different, guys. Our December 15th show is going to be via Skype. Our guest will be Brad Cleveland, who is globally known for many of his contributions to the customer management industry. He was co-founder and president of the International Customer Management Institute, that has been a long time standard for our contact center and call center industry. So we are excited for that. That's something different in technology for us. So with that, thank you all for tuning in. I usually say clicking in. I know some of you probably said, she always says clicking in. And we'll see you next, and stay safe.